Thank you very much, colleagues. We now move to official announcements of the Speaker. The city is reeling from the impact of the second wave, and we would like to send condolences to families which have lost their loved ones as a result of COVID-19. We appeal to residents to maintain adherence to COVID-19 prevention protocols by wearing their masks, observing appropriate social distancing measures, and washing their hands. We appreciate the efforts made by our healthcare workers and the law enforcement community, and we pray that the efforts made to stem the tide and defeat the pandemic bear fruit. Would like to wish His Worship the Mayor, Councillor T.M. Kaunda, a speedy recovery, and we are grateful that he's making good progress and will be back on council duties shortly. We also wish a speedy recovery for the acting city manager, Mr. Siphoqele, who is represented by Dr. Musa Gumede in this meeting, and all other councillors and staff members who are not well. We've lost a number of prominent people, including our relatives and friends. Amongst those, the city would like to convey condolences to the families and friends of the Minister in the Presidency, the late Minister Jackson Mthembu, KZMEC for Transport, MEC Begintuli, former Deputy Minister of Defense, Mr. Mluleki George, former Ukhozi FM station manager, Mr. Welcome Zimande, jazz musician, Mr. Jonas Gwangwa, actor and playwright, Dr. Sam Phillips, General Secretary of SAMU, Mr. Kwena Ramutlo, former Athletics South Africa President, Mr. Leonard Tweni, veteran journalist, Mr. John Kwelane, one of the city's anti-substance abuse activists, Mr. Sam Pillay and his wife. We've also lost one of our own, Councillor Lucky Mgwengwe, who was called to glory on Friday last week after being sick for some time, for almost a year. May his soul rest in peace. He will be laid to rest tomorrow at Mopeni Cemetery in Hammersdale. The city of eThekwini would also like to apologize to residents and the business community for water and electricity outages experienced during the beginning of the year. Every effort was made to rectify the situation, and we appreciate the patience displayed by the public during this time. Councillors are welcome back from recess. We hope you had a restful festive season, and we look forward to working together in the new year. We welcome Councillor S. Ladla, the new ANC councillor who has joined us, replacing Councillor Z. Gumede. Councillors, to note that it is important that we be presentable when we join the meeting, because this is a formal meeting, even if it's virtual. Councillors, to note that in order to maintain order during the meeting, all microphones will remain muted, and will only be unmuted when one has raised their hand and has been recognized by the speaker to participate in discussions. Please note, once unmuted by the speaker, you should then unmute on your side to be able to speak. To minimize costs, Council has opted to convene through our internal resource, the MS team. Unfortunately, through the platform, we were unable to provide simultaneous interpretation system. Therefore, we seek the indulgence of councillors that we provide interpretation as and when required, but also to interpret from English to English. A councillor will speak, and thereafter interpretation will follow. In order to achieve effective collaboration between MS teams and social media streaming, councillors are requested to switch off their cameras and only switch on when raised by the speaker to participate in the discussion. After speaking, your cameras should be switched off. For voting, party leaders will be requested to indicate the political party, and then the recent attendance number of the party will be used to count the votes. Councillors are encouraged to remain connected for the duration of the meeting to achieve quorum. Best wishes to all councillors celebrating their birthday this month. Councillors are brought to attention of Rule of Order 16.1 A to E and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9. As per these rules, councillors are requested to conduct themselves in a respectful manner, to refrain from interrupting the proceedings, and are encouraged to conduct business with the highest decorum and integrity that the occasion and the residents of the municipality deserve. Councillors, I'm sorry I've omitted the name of Councillor Ubaba Udlomo, who also passed away. May his soul rest in peace. Thank you very much.
They say they can't hear you speak.
You can't hear me. They can't hear me. You, Councillor Ntuli, please unmute yourself and speak. Councillor Ntuli. The sound is okay now. Councillor Ntuli. Councillor Mthethwa, please unmute yourself and speak.
Thank you, Speaker. Good morning. I wanted to alert you to the very poor sound quality when you were making your announcements.
We can't hear you, Nyambos. Nyambos, please raise your voice.
I wanted to raise the poor quality of
Not
sound when
audible. You're still soft.
Speaker, can you hear me?
No, I can't hear you clearly.
I am saying I wanted to alert you that the quality of your sound was very poor when you were making your announcement. As a matter of fact, you spoke for almost 5 minutes and all of us could not hear what you were saying. That's what I wanted to alert you to.
Okay, I'll read the announcements again. Thank you.
And also, Speaker, whilst I'm on the floor, If it is
Yes.
possible, like I requested on Monday, can you have staff members monitoring the system? Because it takes you 5 minutes to even recognize the fact that you have hands that are raised.
No, there are people who are assisting me. They are recognizing the hands. Councillor Ntokozo Sibiya, please unmute yourself and speak.
Thank you very much, Speaker. No, I just wanted to raise the issue of the sound when you were speaking.
We
Thanks.
didn't hear. Okay, I'll read the announcements again. Thank you. Councillor? Councillor Kosi?
Thank you,
Please
Madam Speaker.
everybody.
The colleagues have mentioned the problem that we faced, but the last one that I wanted to submit is to congratulate the ANC umbutho omkhulu ngokudeploya i-China ku-national government. Siyabonga kakhulu.
Ayikho kuma-announcement. Another hand? Is there another hand? Councillor? Mabanga. Councillor Mabanga.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Things I need to just be certain about it, but I think we are struggling, or as this is my case, I'm able to follow up to 2 sentences, whatever they say. I noted where Councillor Mthethwa was there, I also lost him. Councillor Zosbia, I'm losing him. The same with Nkosi. Not sure. I've been trying to move around, and I have 4G, right? And the coverage is so well, but then I just want us to pause and check. Really for 98%, and then I'll just move around for just.
Okay, Councillor. Councillor Malo. Let's pause for 5 minutes and after sound will be to assist and correct and make sure that the sound is clear. Thank you. Can we then pause for 10 minutes? Thank you. We'd like to, we've lost a number of prominent people, including our relatives and friends and colleagues. Amongst those, the city would like to convey condolences to the families and friends of Minister in the Presidency, Minister Jackson Mthembu, KZN MEC for Transport, MEC Begintuli, former Deputy Minister of Defense, Mr. Mluleki George, former Ukhozi FM station manager, Mr. Welcome Zimande, jazz musician, Mr. Jonas Gwangwa, actor and playwright, Dr. Sam Phillips, General Secretary of SAMU, Mr. Kwena Ramutlo, former Athletics South Africa President, Mr. Leonard Tweni, veteran journalist, Mr. John Kwelane, one of the city's anti-substance abuse activists, Mr. Sam Pillay and his wife. We've also lost two of our colleagues, Ubaba Udlomo and also Councillor Lakim Gwengwe, who was called to glory on Friday last week after being away from work for almost a year. He will be laid to rest tomorrow at Mopela Cemetery in Hammersdale, and also Babu Dlomo Bephume Hammersdale. May their souls rest in peace. We welcome Councillor S. Ladla, the new ANC councillor who has joined us, replacing Councillor Z. Kumete. Councillors, to note that it is important that we be presentable when we join the meetings, because these are council meetings and formal meetings, even if it's virtual. Councillors, to note that in order to maintain order during the meeting, all microphones will remain muted and will only be muted when one has raised their hand and has been recognized by the speaker to participate in the discussion. Please note, once unmuted by the speaker, you should then unmute on your side to be able to speak. To minimize costs, Councillor has opted to convene through our internal resource, the MS Teams. Unfortunately, through this platform, we are unable to provide simultaneous interpretation system. Therefore, we seek the indulgence of councillors that we provide interpretation as and when required, but also to interpret from isiZulu to English. A councillor will speak and thereafter interpretation will follow. In order to achieve effective collaboration between MS Teams and social media streaming, councillors are requested to switch off their video cameras and only switch it on when recognized by the speaker to participate in discussions. After speaking, video camera should be switched off. For voting, party whips or leaders will be requested to indicate the position of the party, and then the recent attendance number per party will be used to count the votes. Councillors are encouraged to remain connected for the duration of the meeting to achieve the quorum. Best wishes to all councillors celebrating their birthdays this month. Councillors are brought to the attention of Rule of Order 16.1, A to E, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9. As per these rules, councillors are requested to conduct themselves in a respectful manner, to refrain from interrupting the proceedings, and are encouraged to conduct business with the highest decorum and integrity that the occasion and the residents of the municipality deserve. Thank you very much. We will then give the speaker's report. The speaker of this, the purpose of this report is to provide an update in respect of various activities that transpired in council during the month of January 2021. Strategic objective provision is made in section 13G of the current rules of order by law pertaining to the order of business for an ordinary meeting and special meeting for the speaker to report in council on council activities and other matters pertaining to the functioning of council. The Back to Basics strategy as adopted by the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs also supports this notion. as it stipulates that municipal speakers should, as part of Back to Basics, monitor report in respect of municipal councils monthly, particularly on how council has performed in terms of its legislated mandate. In line with Back to Basics, the following is reported. Ward committee meetings held in the month of December 2020 to January 2021 are as follows. Meeting held 72 December, submitted evidence only 38, outstanding evidence 34, meetings not held 38. January, meetings that were held 34, submitted evidence only 9, outstanding evidence is 25, meetings not held 76. Council will note that there is a slight drop in the number of meetings held, and the submission rate is also noticeably low. Ward councillors are urged to ensure that they convene ward committee meetings as required. As approved by Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, meetings should be convened as the number of ward committee members in attendance is more than 10. Ward councillors who have COVID-19 cases or do not have venues where COVID-19 protocols will be observed, and as a result, cannot hold meetings as required to report such and are required to report such incidents to the Speaker's office in writing. Community engagement meetings, as it was reported in the last council meeting, which was held in December 2020, that request for support to hold community engagements will not be considered over the festive season, but the Speaker will only consider same at the end of January 2021. This will no longer be possible after President of the country, Honorable Cyril Ramaphosa, moved the nation into level 3, where gatherings are no longer permitted. Council membership. Council to note that there was a by-election held on the 9th of December 2020 in Ward 66, and that the ward was retained by the Democratic Alliance. The Independent Electoral Commission has confirmed the appointment, and therefore the Council welcomes the appointment of Councillor Zoe Solomon. Councillor also welcomes the appointment of ANCPR Councillor Busiso Blessing Dladla. Senior Citizens Program, the progress of distributing food vouchers to needy senior citizens unfolded on the 25th and the 26th of January 2021, observing COVID-19 protocols. All vouchers were collected and the above dates, except for 4 councillors who collected the vouchers on 27 January 2021 due to various reasons. Councillors were provided with a register which is to be signed by each beneficiary and returned to the office of the Speaker within the period of 3 months upon the day of receipt. Thank you very much. Can I then allow City Manager to read the applications for leave of absence?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We have an application for Councillor P. Mfeka from the 25th of January until the 31st of January for all meetings in between. Councillor D.M. Kanyile from the 1st of 2021 for that day only. For the Mayor, Councillor Kaunda from the 4th of January until the 29th of January. And from the City Manager, as has been said, until the 29th of January, from the 23rd of January. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Those were the applications for leave of absence. There are hands that are up, Councillor. The Chief Whip's hand is up. Chief Whip, please unmute yourself and speak.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Greetings to you, colleagues and officials. There is also an apology for Councillor Reginald Kloot. He lost her twin sister and they are bearing today. And also Councillor Simpiwe Ncube. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Ntomfuthi, please unmute yourself and speak. Councillor Kumede, please unmute yourself.
Madam Speaker.
Yes, yes, Councillor.
Submitted Councillor
Chief Whip, please remove your camera, switch off your camera and mic. Yes, yes, Councillor Kumede.
I've submitted Councillor Ban Prakash Satish and Councillor Njanga says leave of absence through Secretariat, but it wasn't called.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there another hand? Councillor Sibisi. Councillor Sibisi, please unmute yourself. And speak. We've unmuted you. Please unmute yourself and speak. Okay. Councillor Mtiane, please unmute and speak. Councillor Mtiane, please unmute and speak. Councillor Tabani Mtetwa, please unmute and speak.
Thank you, Speaker. I have submitted this morning 4 LOAs. That was for Councillor Kaylee Liang, Councillor Kanaki Pillay, Councillor Hlengwe Shores, and Councillor Xolani Nala. May that be recorded, please.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Mtetwa. Councillor Vusi Kumede. Please unmute. Councillor Dudu Kanyile, please unmute and speak.
Yes, Speaker. Ukhansela uThami Xuma uyahluleka ukungena.
Oh, okay.
Yes, speak.
Ngiyakuzwa.
Okay, sure.
Any other hand? Okay, thank you very much. Are all these leave of absence applications accepted, councillors? DA? DA, are we accepting? Councillor Mthethwa?
Yes, we
Unmute
have no
and-
issues. Yes,
Okay,
Speaker, we
thank
have
you
no,
very
we
much.
have no issues with it.
Thank you, Nyambose. Councillor IFP, sorry.
Yes, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Mguni. EFF? Councillor? EFF? True Alliance accepts. If you can also write on the chat. Yes, Truly Alliance. ANC, Chief Whip. ACDP accepts. Kuluma, Chief Whip, unmute and speak.
My apology, Madam Speaker, I couldn't hear you. What was the question?
Are we accepting the LOAs?
Yes, we accept. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mosa,
MF accepts.
MF accepts.
APC accepts.
APC accepts. Mosa, unmute and speak. Are you accepting?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. DLC? DLC?
TLC accepts, Madam Speaker.
DLC? Councillor Kanyile, unmute and speak.
We accept, speak.
Thank you. The EFF accepts. TA? Councillor Sbisi and Councillor Mabanga, are you accepting the LOAs? Okay, let us continue. We will now ask the Secretariat to beam the attendance. We want to see the total. Councillor Mtetwa, you can speak, Councillor Mtetwa.
Madam Chair, I see what is displayed on your screen in terms of the attendees from the Democratic Alliance. I would like to bring to your attention that number is not accurate. Even though some members get kicked out from time to time by the system, but the number of DA councillors in this meeting are 54.
Can you
I
confirm?
I can assure you we have no reason to distort the numbers. We just don't have reasons to do that. Thank you.
All right, Chief Whip. You're allowed to speak.
Madam Speaker,
Chief Whip.
yes, even on the ANC side, they are not 80, they are 92, Madam Speaker.
Please try and correct Secretariat. Can we see the total? Another hand. Councillor Mbanjwa, are you in the meeting? Let's add Councillor Mbanjwa, independent. You can speak, Councillor Mabanga. Please unmute and speak, Councillor Mabanga. Yes.
Yes. Can you hear me, Honorable Speaker?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, no, I think I'm covered. I'm covered now.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much. Right. So there's the attendance. It means we can continue with our meeting. We move to the confirmation of minutes. We've only got one set of minutes to confirm, the minutes of the meeting that was held on the 15th of December 2020. Is there anybody to confirm? Please raise your hands. Councillor Puleng. Councillor Puleng, unmute and speak. Councillor Puleng, unmute and speak. Are these minutes a true record of the meeting that was held on the 15th of December? Anybody to confirm? Chief Whip, you are unmuted. You can unmute and speak.
Yes, Madam Speaker, I move for the adoption of the minutes.
The Chief Whip moves for adoption of the minutes. A seconder? Councillor Mabanga seconds. Thank you very much. Then we move to questions. The first question is in page 5. Councillor Dando Kuzwayo is going to respond. Councillor Kuzwayo. Councillor Kuzwayo, you've been unmuted. Please unmute yourself and speak. Councillor Kuzwayo, we can't hear you. Please speak louder. We still cannot hear you. We cannot hear you, Councillor Kuzwayo. Can we go to the next question whilst you try to organize yourself? We'll come back to you. Page 6, Councillor Sokhabase. Please raise your hand so that we can unmute you. You can unmute. You've been unmuted. You can unmute. Councillor Sokhabase. Chief Whip, your camera off, please. Switch your camera off, Chief Whip. Councillor Sokhabase.
Can I speak?
Yes, Sissy, you can. We can hear you very well.
Okay. The response are as follows. Question 1 is 88 water tanks. Question 2, 9 watts. 3, on average, 69 water tanks, both hired and eThekwini, were allocated during different shifts. Tanks are not allocated by watts, they are allocated by area. The community liaison officers that works for water and sanitation were on the ground to assess and guide the process of allocation. The search plans has 2 units and 1 is operational. 6, we don't keep sachet water for disasters. 7, disaster management do have database as well as technical task team in response, which most members are from NGOs. 8, we do have contingency plan which is related to water shortage, but to disasters and emergencies. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Sokhabase. Next question. Next question is in page 8. Councillor Mkhize. Musa Mkhize. You've been unmuted. Please unmute and speak, Kabazel. Pardon, Adele? Councillor Musa Mkhize, please raise your hand so that we're able to unmute you. There's a hand that is up there. Okay. Let's go back to Councillor Ntando Kuzwayo. Let's unmute Councillor Ntando Kuzwayo. And then you can unmute and speak. That's the first question in page 5. Councillor Kuzwayo. Councillor Kuzwayo, please unmute and speak. Okay, let's move to Councillor Mkhize, Musa Mkhize. Please raise your hand. Chief Whip, please unmute and speak. Chief Whip, you can unmute and speak. Please unmute yourself, Chief Whip.
No, you must allow me from your side.
We first allow you from our side, then you can then unmute yourself.
Yes.
We first,
Have
you
you done
raise your
that?
hand. Yes, we've done that. That's why you're able to speak.
So can you hear me now?
Yes, Chief Whip.
Okay. No, Madam Speaker, Councillor Mkhize, Councillor Musa Mkhize is requesting that you unmute him from your side so that he will answer to the questions.
He must raise his hand because when he raises his hand, there are dots that we need to press on and then he gets unmuted. Then he can then unmute. He must please raise his hand.
Let me
Ask him
advise
to
him
raise his hand.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Is that Councillor Mkhize? We can't hear you. We can't hear you. We cannot hear you, Kabazel. Councillor Mkhize, asizwa nhlobo nje. No, we can't hear you, Councillor Mkhize. Awuzame kancane ukuhlehla kule ndawo ohleli kuyona. Councillor Untando Khuzwayo is unmuted. Can we allow him to speak? Councillor Mkhize, awuzame ngenye indlela. Councillor Khuzwayo, unmute yourself and speak, or you've unmuted already. Ungakhuluma. We still have a problem. We can't hear you. We'll come back to both of you. Let's move to page 9. The next question, question 4. Councillor Shelembe. Councillor Shelembe's hand is up. Please unmute him. And unmute yourself, Councillor Shelembe, and speak. You haven't unmuted yourself. Please unmute from your gadget. We've unmuted you, but you must also unmute.
I have unmuted. Thank you, Speaker.
Yes,
Greetings, councillors, officials, and members of the public. The answer to question 1, the city has a record of people in shelters. 1.1, we are currently have 650 that are housed in 4 shelters. 1.2, it is not applicable. The answer to question 2, the intervention strategy, if funding become available, is to establish safe, open sleeping spaces so we can do skills development program working with SPVs and NGOs. The answer to question 3, we have established shelters where homeless people are housed and they are introduced to skills that assist them to re-establish their lives. Some homeless people in the shelters have been introduced to agricultural program and will now be able to earn a living and avoid going back to the street. The Belhaven Drug Rehabilitation Center helped the homeless people to be weaned off drugs and to reunite them with their families. Social development has been engaged and assists homeless people in shelters to unite with their families. I thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Councillor Shelembe. Can we move to the next page, page 10, the last question? Councillor Sipho Kaunda. Please raise your hand so that you are, yeah. Then unmute yourself and speak.
Thank you, Speaker.
Thanks.
Durban Tourism never allocate money for entertainment. However, the department did not promote the city through event leveraging in December 2020. Question 2. Durban Tourism did not sponsor any event, including Fact Durban Rocks, in December 2020. Question 3, question 4, question 5. Based on the above response, the Durban Tourism did not have any input nor contribution to the event. So as part of the destination promotion, since the event was in Durban, the event was promoted on Durban Tourism social media platform at no cost. Question 6. In the financial year 2017-2018, there was no partnership between Fact Durban Rocks and Durban Tourism. Through council approved, Durban Tourism partnered with Fact Durban Rocks during the 2018 and 2019 financial year for December 2019 only, and the contribution was 800,000. Question 7, Durban Tourism did not sponsor the event, and we have no information on the viewership for December 2020. But we'll advise the councillor, if he's so interested, to touch base with the organizer of the event so that he can get the number of the viewership that event. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Kaunda. Can we then go back to the first question in page 5 by Councillor Ntando Kuzwayo, who's going to respond. Please raise your hand, Mgoni, so that we are able to unmute you. You're all unmuted already. Ungakhuluma baba. Still has a problem. Page 8, question. Councillor Sokabase, your hand is up. Please unmute yourself. You've been unmuted. You can speak, Councillor Sokabase. Let's move to the third question by Councillor Musamkize. Councillor Kuzwayo, can you send the responses to somebody else who will be able to read the answers? And Councillor Musamkize? Councillor Sokabase, please unmute and speak. Yeah, if you're able to write on the charts who is going to be reading the responses so that we continue. There's a hand that is up. Councillor Sokabase, we've unmuted you. Please unmute and speak. Is that Councillor Sokabase's hand? Councillors, let's try. Oh, there's a hand. No, Balek. And let's try and move on, and then we'll come. Councillor Sokabase. Councillor Sokabase, we've unmuted you. Please unmute yourself and speak.
Speaker,
Yes,
hello?
Councillor. Yes, I can hear you.
No, I was raising, Speaker, that our colleagues have a problem, but I do have answers. Can I read them?
Yes, we were saying that if somebody can respond because they have problems.
Okay.
Continue.
May I start with the question 8 on page 8?
The first question, page 5.
Okay,
No,
the
the
page
first
5
question.
one. On question 5, the first question, the first answer, we are having 23 buildings. Second one, the answer is 1,533,967.75 cents per month. Number 3, yes. Then is 10 of the properties reports are already on routes of council to seek approval to dispose the properties. Second, properties have already been allocated to social housing development and administrative processes are being finalized to hand over the properties to the developers. 3 and 2 are ready to go out. 2 are ready to go out on tender before the end of the first quarter. The rest are either set aside for units like Safer City and business support, and others are currently in circulation. Number 4, the FMA requires that all properties are sold, stroke lease, by way of the competitive bidding process, and that is the process that will be followed. The first adverts will go out before the end of the first quarter. Number 5, the answer is yes. Some of the reports that are mentioned on the answer to question 3 are recommending for approval to lease the properties. Question 6, the answer is that an MFMA requires that all properties are sold. It's the same one that we mentioned before. Sold, lease, by the way of competitive bidding properties, and that is process, and that's the process. That is the process. So I think it's okay now.
Thank you, Councillor Sokabase. Then number 8, page 8.
The page 8, question 1. Available resources were stretched between dealing with backlogs and new faults. Backlogs had been accumulated during the period when operating budgets had run out. Whilst backlogs have not been fully declared, there is now significant improvement in attending to faults within 24 hours. Question 2. The total of existing contracts, category A is 271, category B is 571, category C is 930. The total is 1,772. Question 3. All plumbers in the EWS database are qualified. Qualification criteria for category 1A and B is equal to trade test. For category C, plumbing certificate. Question 4. I think the plumbing list attached is with me. I think councillors who love to see it will go to the Speaker's office so that they will get the list. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councillor Sokhabase. We are done now with the minutes. Let's then move with the questions. I'm sorry. We're done now with the questions. Let us now move on to the next item, which is going to be I'll invite Her Worship, the Deputy Mayor, Councillor B. Scott, to table the EXCO report. Are there any councillors that have interest to declare? Okay, let's move on. Deputy Mayor, we've unmuted you. Please table the Executive Committee report.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. With the powers invested in me, I table the first report of the Executive Committee to Council.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. Acting City Manager, please present the first item. Supplementary agenda.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. The first item of the first report of the Executive Committee meeting held on the 26th of January 2021 is the midterm amendments to Service Delivery and Budget Implementation Plan 2020-2021 financial year for committee recommends.
We have a speaker here, Councillor Mthethwa. We've unmuted you. Please speak. Let's all switch off our cameras except for Councillor Mthethwa. Councillor Ngumalo, who else? Asivaleni amakhamera ethu sonke. Asivaleni ama-cameras and we allow Councillor Mthethwa.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. The DA caucus in eThekwini has over the years committed itself to supporting...
You're a bit soft, Nyambose. We can hear you, but you are soft.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm saying the DA caucus in eThekwini has over the years committed itself to supporting every move which is aimed at making sure that people have access to basic service delivery. After all, our primary role as councillors is to provide services to the people. There, however, has been a worrying trend where management seems to be setting targets for themselves which are only easily achievable. This on its own is not a bad thing. But it only become a problem when these targets are only aimed at making sure that the municipality looks good on paper, but such looking good on paper does not translate to tangible service delivery on the ground. We will therefore not be supporting this because we worry that it only makes the municipality look good on paper, when in fact basic service delivery is, however, hindered by such amendment to the SDP. We would propose that the ANC and all other political parties do not support this move, because it is, in our view, only intended at making sure that we all look good on paper as if we are delivering, when in fact such is not translated directly to tangible service delivery. These plans, in our view, are very important plans, which aim to make sure that there is service delivery to the communities. But when these amendments are effected, it can only mean one thing and one thing only, that is service delivery is not going to be realized by people who need it the most. Now more than ever, Madam Speaker, the municipality should be making sure that during this pandemic, people are able to have access to basic service delivery, not to amend these costs so that we achieve them, but at the end of the day, people who are supposed to be the beneficiaries of this development are not the beneficiaries. I can go on and on, Madam Speaker, and make examples. But at the end of the day, this amendment does not